Hello everyone. I welcome you all to CSA Core Concepts and I am Dr. Sonali. In this video, we are going to discuss one of the types of top-down parser, that is the recursive descent parser. In my earlier video on parsing, we have introduced what do we mean by parsing and the categories of parsing, top-down and approaches of parsing, that is top-down and bottom-up. So in top-down parsing, we have seen that a very common is the backtracking and another one is without backtracking. So what is the basic difference? What is the help we get from backtracking parser is that you can undo. See, in case you have multiple rules, let's say this. Now, while parsing a string, you have to determine which of the rule will be applied. Now, in this case, it is difficult to determine, and in backtracking, you can always go back and change your rule. But without backtracking parsers, you cannot do so. Right? So basically, recursive descent is a non-backtracking parser, and so there should not be any ambiguity, and you have to know in advance which rule you can apply. So let us understand the working of a recursive descent parser. So basically it starts with the grammar mapping, that is whichever non-terminals are there in the rule or in the grammar, for each non-terminal you have to create a function. The way we create functions in C, C++, Java. Then they are called recursively, that is recursive procedures are being called. Sometimes one non-terminal calls itself. Let's say if I have a function as. So if I am writing a function for s, I am calling a and again I am calling the s function in it recursively. Right. Of course, it is a top-down approach. So you have to start with the start symbol and there is a global variable called lookahead, which will keep a track of the string which you are giving, which production rule to follow, right? The current input character. So let's say you are given A, B. So look ahead will be A, B. One by one it is going to do until you reach the dollar sign, which indicates the end of the string. So let us get started with understanding of a recursive descent parser with the help of an example. So consider this example, that is E takes the form I, E dash, or you can say E prime, and E prime is plus I, E prime or epsilon. See, here you have multiple rules. So you need to decide which rule will be applicable to the input string. So now here you can understand which are the non-terminals. We have two non-terminals here, E and E dash. So first thing what we need to do, just now I told you, that is we have to map the grammar, that is we need to create functions for each non-terminals. So let us get started with the first non-terminal or the start symbol E. So what is E doing? Simply you have to make the function by following the grammar, right? So I. So if your look ahead, that is the input string character which you fetched just now, is equal to I, then you have to match it with the character string, okay? And then you have to, then next command is what? You are giving a call to the E prime function. So let us write down the E prime function. Let's see, this is the E prime function. So what is E prime function says? First it is trying to match plus. So if it matches plus, try to match it, then go for plus I, that is I, and again it is calling itself, that is E prime recursively. Either this rule will be applicable or this rule will be applicable. So if your look ahead does not match here, so you will go to the else part with a return, means epsilon. So you are going to return to the calling function. So who has called E prime? That is E function. So you will return back to E. Now let's see the match function where your argument is the input character which is given. So if look ahead and that character matches, then you get next character. Get char means, let's say I am giving you a string AAB. Okay. So first look ahead will be A. So you fetch the next. That means the first symbol is done, correctly parsed. You fetch the next character from the string. And when you don't get the desired character, let's say in this grammar, we have which terminals? We have only two terminals, I and plus. But if I am giving you an input string having I plus D, so can you match D with the help of this grammar? No, you cannot match. So in this case, you will get an error. And of course, we have to write a main function to start execution. So in the main function, as it is a top-down parser, we are going to start with the symbol E. Okay, E we are going to call, and we will go on doing this until we reach the dollar sign, where dollar is representing the end of the string. So when your look ahead encounters a dollar sign, it means that your parsing is successful. So let us take the example of a string I plus I dollar. So I plus I is the string, dollar is the end of the string, and let's try to parse using these functions. So the first thing you will do is you will go and call the main function with E. So let us go to the E function and see what to do here. So in E function, our look ahead is I. Yes, the first string is I. If look ahead is I, you try to match it with I. Let's see. Look ahead is equals to C, because in match your argument is I. So look ahead is equals to C. Yes. So fetch the next character. So what is the next character according to our input string? Plus. So plus is the next character. So look ahead is now plus. Now in this case, you can draw the parse tree also along with it, where you have first called the E function. So that is the root of your tree. Now in the E function, you try to match the first character is your I. So here in the left branch, on the left branch, you are writing I. Then this match function, when it is done, so match function will return back to the calling function here, and next execute step is calling the new function E prime. So here in the parse tree from E function, you first matched I and then you are giving a call to E prime. So let us now see what does E prime function does. So in the E prime function, if your look ahead, so my look ahead is now plus, right? So if your look ahead is plus, yes, my look ahead is plus. So let's go and match the plus symbol. So let's go to the match function. So look ahead is plus, yes, matched, fetch the next character. So what is my next character in the string? Again I. So from here E prime, first you tried to match plus, right? Now let us match function will go back here, come back here after matching plus. Then it will try to match I. So is your look ahead matching I? Yes, our look ahead was I. So it has matched, right? So fetch the next character. So if you fetch the next character, so now our look ahead is dollar. So here you are saying you have matched plus, you have matched I, and then after matching here I, according to the grammar, we have again called E prime function recursively. So that is why in the parse tree, in the E prime function, you first tried to match plus, then you tried to match I, then you tried to match E prime, right? So now again we will go back to the E prime function because it is called recursively. But right now our look ahead is dollar. So if look ahead is equals to plus, is it so? No. So since this if statement is false, we will go back to the else part where it is written. We go to the second rule, that is epsilon. So return means this E prime will return to the calling function, that is your E. After this there are no instructions. So of course E function will return to its calling function, that is main. Right. So that is why in the parse tree you are writing E will take the form of epsilon in the second iteration. Now our look ahead is dollar. Yes, this time our look ahead is dollar, which symbolizes the end of the string. Hence we understand that parsing is successfully done. You can see the parse tree is generated. So you go I, then you go to the left branch plus, then you go I, and Done. End of the string. So this is how you perform a recursive descent parser. What you have to do is that the number of non-terminals you have, that many functions you need to create, and in each function you have to simply follow the grammar which is being given. And for the string you have to start following the functions and generating the parts tree. In my next video, I am going to discuss about one more example of a recursive descent parser where we will use some more terminals, non-terminals, so that you can understand how multiple functions can be called. So if you understood, please write me in the comment section and do try this exercise on your own, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to CSE Core Concepts. Thank you.